This video will trigger you and offend you in some way. You have been warned. You know, I thought I was done with this kind of stuff until the upcoming Idiots Guide. But that all changed when the bias shit stained on us. The Roundtable uploaded this wonderful gem. This is gonna be fun. Okay, first things to get off my chest before I begin. I hate the Roundtable. I think it's a joke. A lot of that has to do thanks to the spineless asshole AwestruckVox and the scandal with the Make-A-Wish kid. Yeah, I know you guys are going to tell me he apologized, but I'm not buying it. He only knew this kid was on death row and blasted him without sympathy. He's the kind of coward who will make an apology just to save his own skin. He does not give a rat's ass about the kid. If he did, he would not have done this in the first place. He only cares about his career. Fuck this guy. Anyway, this guy's actions are not the main reason for this video. His statements, including the statements of whoever the fuck this guy is regarding Voltron, is the reason. So with that said, let's jump in. Spoilers ahead, everybody. Let's start with Tom. He says this.
It was said that Adam and Shiro were engaged but had a falling out just before Shiro went into space, and in Season 7, viewers would be seeing more of Adam. What was heavily implied in order to hype up the upcoming season was that there would be flat out representation of an on-screen LGBT relationship in the show. However, that isn't exactly what happened.
Whoa. Rewind.
But had a falling out just before Shiro went into space.
Do it again.
But had a falling out just before Shiro went into space.
And again.
But had a falling out just before Shiro went into space.
Then he says this.
And in Season 7, viewers would be seeing more of Adam. What was heavily implied in order to hype up the upcoming season was that there would be flat out representation of an on-screen LGBT relationship in the show. However, that isn't exactly what happened.
He's saying it like the showrunner stated that there will be a flat-out LGBT relationship in the show, which is bullshit to think about considering that he just said the relationship was over prior to Shiro leaving for Kerberos. That should ring a bell that said you will not see them in a relationship because they broke up. And to make it worse, again, it's not like the crew said there will be a full LGBT relationship in the show. They simply stated there will be LGBT rep, but did not state how much. You people simply overhyped the information out of context and read way too much into a character that was not even the main focus. And yes, the crew said we will see more of Adam. But that's it. It's such a broad term, it could mean anything. And what you people did was interpret it into a term that best fit what you wanted it to be, and completely overblew it. Remember when I said I stress over concrete hints before making big assumptions? It's stuff like this that is the reason why I stress over it so much. That quote was simply filled with too many what ifs, and to boil it down to one single outcome when the outcomes are in high numbers is stupid. And now you people are trying to blame the crew because nobody can read the fine print apparently. Now again, Tom here thinks, and I quote, Voltron is guilty of queerbaiting. Reason one is the panel led them on too much, and this is nothing revolutionary in reacting to past examples of gay relationships in the media, where there was hardly any focus or even confirmation of the rep being present. It's almost like these guys did not pay attention to the panel and are having the same reaction to all the other retards in the fandom when discussing LGBT rep, just not as toxic. When discussing their LGBT rep, they were talking about Shiro, as in Shiro is the main focus for the gay rep. They even mentioned that Adam and him broke up prior to Shiro leaving for Kerberos. Maybe I should have rung a bell saying ding ding ding, Shiro's the main attraction for rep, not Adam. Don't blame Voltron for something the fanbase completely missed and started hyping the wrong character. Reason 2, Tom says, and I quote, the fact that a central part of the promotion of Season 7 was the process of an LGBT relationship. Again, the fact, no. The central part of the promotion for season 7 was the crew traveling back to Earth, how they would get to Earth, or rather whether they would get there at all. If gay representation was a central part of the promotion, they would have mentioned it when they first started talking about season 7 and continued to talk the balls out of it non-stop despite all the other events. They talked about the upcoming events regarding the crew going to Earth much more than the gay rep. It's just the media, most of the fandom only blew up the gay stuff of the season 7 talks to the scale. You can literally type Voltron season 7 on Google and you will hardly find anything to do with stuff not regarding gay stuff. This guy also stated, continuing the last quote, and again, I quote, "The process of an LGBT relationship seems to only exist to get queer audiences to invest in the hopes of being represented, only to be let down with a half-baked portrayal. It's like it's saying they put LGBT hopes in the show to gather an LGBT audience from the woods just to boost views and pretty much say fuck y'all, thanks for the views." Oh wait, that is what he said. Anyway, that makes no sense considering most of the fan base in the show have been in large numbers as far as the LGBT presence goes. And Lauren herself did say, I think back in season 4, that there will be LGBT rep in the show, along with Lance having a canon endgame, just so you guys can kind of connect the dots there. Again, they did not say, however, how much LGBT would be in the show. LGBT rep comes in all shapes and sizes like everything else. People just overhyped it to proportions that was beyond what the crew said, which is not uncommon at all. I mean, gamers and movie addicts, etc. do it all the time. So why does it have to be different because LGBT is involved? So to say they let people down, they didn't. Everybody simply overhyped it to lengths beyond what the crew stated, and they put their expectations way too high. Tom also read the quote from an interview from Polygon, and after he read the last quote, I could not help but scream to the top of my lungs and say, "So Adam is a plot device." What exactly is your point reading these quotes? All you're doing is confirming that Adam is a plot device as the crew intended, and nothing more. Which again also angers me to the fact that the sole reason the plot device is a gay man is queerbaiting. It's like your retards are saying gay people can't die, gay people can't be villains, and if they are, it's queerbait and homophobia. Nice. Which will transition to this next quote from Tom. Adam and Shiro seem to be the only ones to have a tragic ending. Okay, first of all, retard, the show is not over. Second of all, you can taste the bias in this quote. He states that it is being betrayed that gay love stories will always end tragically. This guy is trying to push the gay people being treated like they're a special bubble. I'm getting sick and fucking tired of people saying that we just want to be treated like normal people, then go and pull shit like this by trying to act like they're special and deserve special treatment. And that because this tragic ending seemed to happen to a gay couple is wrong in queerbait. When hey, newsflash, that happens to hetero couples too. We want it to be equal. Welcome to the equal train. It sucks sometimes. Tom here also adding, and I quote, "The fact that Adam was killed so quickly makes it seem like the show wanted to get points for having gay rep without actually having to write it beyond a few short scenes that establish it." Again, the fact, I want to know what is the Roundtable's view of facts, because it's been quite shitty so far. This would hold a little ground if the two were still a couple, and B, if the crew made statements leaning towards Adam being the main focus for their rap, which newsflash, both are not the case. Why is that, you ask? Well, think of it like this. They portray Adam as the focus of the rap, they hype him up and state that he's going to get a deep background, and that you're going to see how him and Sheila first met, and you portray him as a beacon for LGBT rap, stuff like that. But then despite all they say, they pull a No Man's Sky and kill them all despite all the promises, leaving you with an empty shell of lies. But do you know the kicker? They didn't do that. They focused on Shiro as the gay rep, and they didn't even talk about that, really they did not talk about it that extensively compared to all the other stuff going on in the show. As I said before, you simply overhyped Adam and want to blame the crew for it, and you completely miss the details and don't want to accept it. And to finish with Tom, this.
What should be focused on is the fact that normalizing LGBT people and relationships through animation is important and should be a priority, and when done right, it makes a genuine difference in making the world a more tolerant and accepting place.
It's like you guys don't realize that LGBT is not a top priority in Voltron. You know, it would not surprise me if Tom here was a gay guy himself and just trying to protect his safe little bubble and making it seem like LGBT and everything is oh so important. That LGBT people are oh so oppressed, and putting LGBT as a show for kids will make the world much more accepting and tolerant. It's like you acted like this is 2013, you don't pay attention to the news and media and never figured out it's not the state of most of the world anymore. Most people don't give a rat's ass if you're gay. In fact, as I stated in my last video, straight people are the ones being overlooked by LGBT people in the job market, despite the straight guy having a better resume. In which I had this happen to me before, so don't try and tell me it's bullshit. And I also hope you do realize that you make up about 4.5% of the American population. That there is more than one market of people the staff have to cater to. A lot of which make up a large number, but just aren't on Tumblr and social media all the time, obsessing over the show the way LGBT people do. No, LGBT should not be a priority in a show as you clamored. What should be a priority is a good story, proper development, likable characters, good animation, design, and quality progression. Not gay crap or ships as a whole. They're called subplots for a reason. If this is the way you view shows, then you have no business critiquing shows, especially on a channel with 500,000 subscribers. And now let's get to my favorite asshole, AwestruckVox. I just love this statement. Just take a listen to this gem.
As the plot accumulates to our paladins riding back on Earth, only for our heroes, and by extension, the audience to discover that the Gara invaded, with Adam being one of the victims killed in the attack. Shiro doesn't even mourn all too much. We get a few seconds of sad face and we move on.
It is like you don't realize they are in a war and are currently under attack. It's also where you completely dismiss Shiro's character. Seriously? Shiro has always been very emotionally composed. You're sitting here expecting Shiro to break down in tears when that's not his character. And add on to the fact, Adam is Shiro's ex. It's not like he's his husband or his brother. Almost all people don't feel as bad with the death of an ex or the death of someone closer. And to conclude this, we see all of this from the outside. We have no idea what Shiro was feeling from the inside. So all conclusions, including mine I just made just now, are all in limbo because we don't know the full story. I love how Vox here is portraying Shiro on the outside, that looking that sad is concrete, with nothing is said is stone. Idiot. Vox also stating, and I quote, "On one side, because we got to see very little of Shiro's past relationship with Adam and lack of reunion for his untimely demise, despite the aforementioned marketing, this is viewed as queerbaiting." It's like, despite you reading the definition of queerbaiting, you don't have any fucking clue what it means. Remember, queerbaiting is the practice to hint at, but then not to actually depict a same-sex romantic relationship between characters in a work of fiction. Mainly in film or television, you can even include animation, I guess. This would be true if the crew continued to hint at seeing Shiro and Adam as a couple and making promises like the ones I stated earlier. But the problem is, they didn't. They primarily talked about Shiro being the gay rep. They even said again that Adam and Shiro are no longer a couple. Remember, the definition of a same-sex relationship as in two or more people. In what way does killing Adam equal queerbaiting? And when they're not even a couple anymore, but Adam wasn't even the main focus, and it was revealed he was going to be a plot device in the first place. Again, the fandom just overhyped them to the moon and reaped the consequences of not thinking things through. He also stated, just as Shiro is a representation, Adam is as well. And the people who say Shiro alone is a representation are just downplaying the significance as a whole. which is not true at all. It's full of bullshit. It would be true and not full of bullshit if the crew hyped up Adam as much as the fandom did. If they did, they didn't primarily, let's say, for example, they didn't primarily talk about Shiro being the gay rep. They didn't establish that Adam is a plot device. I'm saying Shiro alone is the representation for the simple fact that he is the representation. And Adam is just a plot device that was heavily overhyped by the fandom. Next in line, when he quoted some of Vex's tweets. Vox, I got a question for you. What exactly is your point? And how are you going to include Vex's tweets but not include this one? Probably because it would debunk a good part of your argument. Which will transition us to Vox stating, and I quote, the way it was promoted, and I quote again, the way it was marketed was queerbait. He then goes to show us this tweet from the Voltron Twitter. And again, Vox, what is your point? The tweet said that we will meet Adam. We met Adam. He also states again, and I quote, not his ex-boyfriend, not ex-fiance, not even how much we expect from him, just that he's Shiro's significant other, and that alone implies a lot. It's like you're stating that just because they said this is making this all queerbait, when we already knew they broke up thanks to the confirmation before and after the tweet. And so it doesn't matter what the Voltron Twitter said, given we already knew the details. You also state this implies a lot when it simply implies we will meet him. When they never said in what capacity or how we will, they just said we will meet him. That's it. People just blew that simple statement out of proportion, put into a headcanon they liked, and now are mad because it's not what they wanted. Of course, he later says it's justified for fans to be mad because Voltron said we as an audience are going to meet him. When again, tracing back a little bit, they never said in what capacity we will or how we will. They just said we will meet him. It's one thing to make a headcanon of that statement, but then they get mad at the crew and call them queerbaiters because it's not the headcanon you predicted, and a headcanon from such a simple statement that puts nothing in stone, and if anything implies what it simply states is flat out stupid. Vox also states, and I quote, the vagueness of it all lets fans assume that we will at least witness Shiro and Adam reuniting in present day. And again, by the lack of specifying the fact that they broken up in marketing and hiding his death just before them had Shiro's significant other, you are giving fans the impression that there's room to get back together, that there is a future for Adam. Okay, Vox, seriously? You said the lack of specifying the fact that they have broken up, when the staff have said they have broken up on numerous occasions. You also mentioned hiding his death. What? We clearly saw Adam die in combat. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Vox, but you really need to elaborate on that if you have a whole nother different meaning to that, because that's fucking stupid. You also claim the vagueness of it all. If we want to talk about the vagueness, where and what did they state that it will apply that Shiro and Adam would or would not reunite? Why would you make an assumption over something as vague as that, since you want to talk about vagueness? It's likely people, including the fandom, don't know when something is filled with what ifs, and that it's silly to make bold assumptions over vague information. This is exactly why you make assumptions with concrete hints. If you don't, you're rolling the dice, and 9 out of 10 times, it will not go in your favor. And upon watching this, it's like you don't realize this is not a romantic anime or slash fic. You're completely ignoring the possibilities that can revolve around the actual focus of the show. Shipping is barely touched upon compared to everything else in the show. We only had one side on Lawrence up until now, a few episodes of Latora, one episode of Hunk and Shay, and maybe some hints between Paige and Lance. That's it. You're acting like shipping is the focus of it all, and everything that is implied revolves around romance. Take these two pictures for example. They could mean romance, that could mean a symbol of Shiro's memory, that could mean a symbol of Shiro letting go, it could mean a symbol of the Paladins started by Earth and is using Shiro as an example, and so much more. You guys need to understand that romance is not the focus of the show, and stop making every goddamn thing about it, especially from statements that can mean a lot more. Then he says this.
This is like if a Spider-Man reboot promoted the hell out of Uncle Ben, hyping him up as Peter's caretaker, mentor. This guy is the bee's knees, only for us to walk in and see Uncle Ben get gunned down 5 minutes into the damn thing.
This would hold ground if they did promote the hell out of Adam, in which, newsflash, they didn't. They were mostly promoting Shiro. You people for the 100,000th time blew up Adam to a scale far beyond what he was meant to be. Just because a character is not what you expected to be, given the signs that told you to pump the brakes, does not make the staff queerbaiters. And let's conclude with this final gem.
While I believe they always intended for Shiro to be gay, my only real fear is if the inclusion of Adam was done in response to rabid shippers who have sparked controversy in the fandom's past. While the budding romance between Lance and Allure was something the show has been building up for a while and got a bigger focus in this season, it does feel a bit forced that the narrative is suddenly setting up Keith and Axa too. We know it takes up to 9 months to a year to produce an episode of a cartoon. We know May 2017 saw a huge controversy where a fan tried to blackmail the studio to get their ship, Clance, Keith and Lance, canon. And now going to this final production season, Shiro suddenly has a lover we just now find out about, Lance and Allura is closer than ever, and Keith gets an out-of-nowhere relationship. I'm not saying this is 100% the writers addressing and avoiding shippers by pairing everyone off with different people, especially those who were always thought to be LGBT representatives, leaving their only intended romance from day one of Lance and Allura for the taking, but it is suspicious, especially when you factor in that Pidge and Hunk aren't given any romantic interest. And from my observations of the fandom, they've been shipped the least. And when they are, it's usually with each other.
Please, Vox, for the love of God, take off your fucking shipping goggles. Why does this have to automatically be implied as romance? There's just too many what-ifs regarding Axa. Again, they did not kiss, they did not have a romantic moment. She did not say she wanted to fuck Keith. For all we know, Crowley could have adopted Axa, and she's Keith's adopted sister, which will explain why she's so consistent with him, and another more than one reason, you know. And even if it was romance, you cannot say it was forced when we meet Axa in season 2. The same way Lawrence was one-sided for all this time, it could apply to Axa too. So to say this is forced and romantic is invalid. And I love how Vox is saying this as if they're a canon couple. I also love how he says this is all a ploy to get revenge of the rabid shippers, which is stupid considering that episodes of the show are already made many months in advance and require a lot of time and effort. The crew is not going to change the plot of the story just for a few angry liberals. It also takes too much time and, most importantly, too much money. The crew is already exhausted if you want to put a physical and mental scale into it. Stupid statement, Vox. Very stupid. It's also clear Vox did not do his homework. He claims that Pidge and Hunk are shipped the least, and when they are, it's usually with each other. I mean, it's almost like in his world that plans does not exist. I mean, you know, the ship with the most going for it hint-wise that's not named the most other popular ships. The ship that made the top 10 Tumblr ships? Yeah, that ship. Way to go, Vox. You just told us you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. How the fuck did this joke of a channel have over 500,000 subscribers? Seriously. Have our standards hit rock bottom. Well, there you have it. Another shining example of why the major cartoon channels on YouTube are an absolute joke. Hey Vox, given the many times you said in your eyes, it may be time for you to get a new prescription for your glasses. Because clearly yours are not working right now. And Tom, just stop. Just fucking stop. Seriously. At least Vox sounds like he gives a damn. Hopefully all this will blow over and people will stop being retarded. And we wonder why our generations are laughed upon on the daily. If I don't see any more retarded videos, this should be the last video until the Season 7 Idiots guide. I hope this was the sake of my sanity. With all that said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you later.